It's the perfect time of day, about 6:30, when the sun's going down. There's still light coming in from the windows, but I'm able to turn on all the lights and just have these warm bulbs everywhere in the studio. I think it looks gorgeous, but I'm doing great. I feel like I'm in the golden age. I've said this before, actually many months ago. And, you know, I broke my leg. I was out for a few months, but I'm back and I feel great. You know, everything's very streamlined now. It's going great. I'm making the videos that are my favorite things to make, you know, as well as really progressing myself and making hopefully really fun painting. So it's been going great, documenting, sharing the entire experience in this beautiful studio I'm so lucky to have. I'm SLEW. If you've never been to this channel, this is your first time here in the spiel. I do this like every week. I love to share my experience with painting projects through the lens of a video camera. You can see this ginormous face of myself behind me. That's what we're doing today, a giant self-portrait in acrylics. Let's begin. And there's nothing better than ripping open a new canvas to start a new project. You know, sometimes I stretch my own canvases. Sometimes I like to just buy pre-wrapped, pre-primed canvases. Sometimes local art stores have amazing sales. This 36 by 36 inch canvas is already primed. I'm just sanding it down, preparing it. And there's a few different ways to put this self-portrait that I took a photo of myself onto this canvas. You could project it on. You can sketch it on just normally, you can kind of carbon copy it, or you can use a grid. And I'm using the grid method because I'm confident in my skills to put it on, but you know, having a grid just ensures the exact proportions, the alignment of everything, and it's a really easy grid. If you don't know what a grid is, how to grid out images, I would check out some videos. But so those are the lines all locked in from pencil, and what I'm doing now is just retracing those lines with a paintbrush so I can kind of make the outline a little thicker, a little bolder to really solidify it. I'm going to be using acrylic paint, getting messy, getting crazy, so to have a thicker outline to visually, you know, see the ins and outs of the nose, where the eyelids is, etc., etc. It's good, and that's just what I do. I do this kind of a lot for a lot of different projects, and that's the main point. But I really enjoy this self-portrait. It's very mellow. It's got good light and shadow, and it's a 3/4 view, and I like 3/4 views now. I sometimes do straight on. I've done that quite a lot in the past, but a good 3/4 angled view, and we're gonna get started. Oh, we forgot to press record. I rarely forget to record the camera. You know, I'm very hypersensitive of the documenting process of these videos, lights, the angle, the camera. But I was quite distracted. We were doing a live session last time I started this painting. It was great on YouTube. We painted for 2 hours. I was so distracted, I forgot to hit record on the camera. But if you want to see the process of this painting thus far, the first 2 hours in real time, the live painting session is still on my YouTube channel, so you could check that out. I went live specifically to get people hyped up about my Patreon, because on Patreon, for my patrons, I go live every single week. I live paint and draw every single week. Been doing it for a few months now. It's great. Check that out. Shameless plug. The painting is going great so far. I want to break down this painting, how I think about these things. I think about this painting in 3 different zones. The first zone, the most important, is the face, the skin. You know, it's the focal point. We want to render and detail out the face, the eyes, as much as possible. It is the subject. The second zone is the hoodie and the hat, and that's kind of still a part of the portrait, still important to render these things out, but you don't want these elements to take away from the face. You don't want the hoodie to be this crazy intense red or the hat to be this super bright yellow, in my opinion, because then it's going to take away from the focal point. So these elements, the hat and hoodie, we're going to develop a little less and kind of leave them, you know, we're just going to leave them kind of. And then the background is the last kind of zone, which is similar to the hat and hoodie, where you don't want this background to be super poppy and take away from where your people, the viewers, are looking at this painting. So it's going to be something mellow. It's going to be kind of some gradient perhaps, and we just want it to supplement the face. Maybe that's not the right way to say that. We want the background to support the focal point. That's how I think of these things and the elements within those ideas. We want the focus to be right here, smack dab in the middle of the face. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna attack this background real quick. Before we start again, look at this, a surprise at my door this morning. A local artist who had space in this building moved out, and she left me this amazing easel. It's old, it's big, it's heavy. How kind, so nice, it's heavy. This old easel worked great. It's just flimsy from years and years of abuse and using it. Whoa. This new one is weathered. Some awesome artists probably used it. I'm so excited to have this as my new daily driver. It's so great, so sexy. So yeah, I'm so lucky. What a kind-hearted person. You know, I knew this woman kind of here and there, and I knew she was moving out, and she kindly just left me this easel, another utility. And I use easels every day. That old one, I really is just so old. I've had it for like 4 years, hundreds of paintings and abuse, but it was a happy day to do that. And it's also a happy day to start this background. And I take backgrounds mediumly serious. You know, I'm going to talk about it in the future, but you know, backgrounds are important because they really frame what subject is being placed in it. And if it's, you know, a person, usually in real life people are in spaces, so a background, you know, has to have some sort of atmosphere, have some sort of dimension, you know, to give the illusion of a person being in a place. And so we'll talk about that later, but now I'm just filling in little features, basic eyeballs. You can see that the canvas is still splotchy, still messy. This whole kind of style is very splotchy and messy and sporadic, and I really enjoyed it. It's very fun to let loose like this, and so it's just wonderful. She's so sturdy and sexy. We're doing great on the new easel, but let's take a break. Let's do a little update. My friends ask me, and I see people in the comments say the same thing. It's like, why do you paint so many self-portraits? Like, are you obsessed with yourself? People think it's like egotistical, and maybe it is, but there's a lot of reasons that I do self-portraits. One of them is because I can actually frame myself. You know, I don't need to hire a model. I can just take pictures of myself in any lighting scenario, any kind of facial expression. I can control everything, and I can control what I want to paint. So that's the reason. Paired with that, it's just good to practice figurative stuff, and it's fun for me to document myself, just like I love to document through a video camera all the projects. I love to visually represent myself in different mediums and different sizes and styles, and then also it's just an excuse to paint and try out new techniques and try new paintings. This is really the first time I've ever done this large acrylic painting in a very like realistic style. Usually when I paint figures and more of the naturalistic side, I use oil paint. So it's certainly fun to switch it up, especially painting this scale. But also working with these skin tones and working with different skin complexions, it's like my favorite part. I'm sticking with this very warm skin tone. You can see it's very orangey. There's some yellow in the highlight rather than a normal naturalistic, you know, white skin tone, which is very, you know, pinkish and almost pinkish gray. I'm not a very tan person. And then also the shadows, you know, there's these green browns. So you can see kind of these 4 colors that are making up kind of the entirety of the face, the shadows and the lights. And then kind of to pair with these colors, I have this really almost cool neutral background, which kind of really exaggerates this really warm highlight, which really makes the face pop, I think. You know, having the blue hoodie is just very dull, and then the very dark hat, but also very null, very kind of just simple. It's not taken away, and you're really drawn into this orange face. But you know, there's no real green in my skin if you pinpoint a green or orangey yellow. But you know, the complexion and the unification of these different colors in its entirety, when you look at the painting, kind of looks pretty natural. You know, again, it's not natural colors, and it's not like replicating a photorealistic thing, but kind of unified. In this style, it looks natural. And that's what I was going for, and I'm really happy with those colors. That's the little spiel on the color theory. We got a couple more things to do, including changing the background a little. I want to add some dark parts, some light parts, just some more dimension in the background. And then also with the face, some more details, obviously. And I have my lightest lights and my darkest darks to kind of pearl up, to kind of include. So that's what we're gonna do. And so we're feeling real good at this point. Like I said, I'm working with these warm and cool temperatures, and the face is really filled in. You know, there's good light and shadow. From this point, I'm really just tweaking small things. I tweak that nose a little, and just the accents and, you know, features that are really obvious to fix. But I'm still not doing the lightest lights and darkest darks yet. We're doing that slowly here. I'm adding some pink around the eyes, and you know, there's a lot of just subtlety I'm trying to achieve, but the main idea, so you can say and think like that, is already in. So now I'm just trying to push it a little better, clean things up, add things here and there, and it's looking great. I'm super excited at this point, and it's just a joy to work this big, honestly. The scale is wonderful. I've never done realistic stuff this big, so it's real fun to work like that. And yeah, so just fiddling around, tweaking back and forth, nostril, mustache. I fix a bunch of things later that we'll talk about, but from this point, you know, it's just really fun, and I'm only using, you know, the same paintbrush the whole time. I think I switched between 2 or 3 of almost the identical paintbrushes throughout this entire painting, just so you know. But here's some mega light right there, some warm kind of yellowish light to really bring out that light side, and it's looking great. So we're going to continue to talk and noodle around this portrait. We're going to finish this painting up in real time together, but before that, we got to talk about the sponsor for today's video, Skillshare. You've heard me talk about them before. Skillshare is an amazing online learning community with thousands of different classes ranging from design, illustration, business, photo, and film, and they are taught by the leading professionals in those disciplines. Skillshare really is an amazing platform. It encompasses all sorts of people, whether you're new to these creative hobbies and want to just start off, or you're a career professional in these disciplines. Skillshare's videos has resources for every sort of person. There's no advertisements, and obviously comparing it to in-person classes, it's a no-brainer. Skillshare is less than $10 a month with their annual membership. It's the type of platform of the highest quality. Their website, user interface, and all of the classes, you know, it's designed and curated really to learn. A brand new class I've actually watched and listened to from the homie Jazza, a fellow YouTube creator, Mastering Illustration. He takes you through all of the fundamentals of coloring, illustrating, and shading, everything to do with illustration. I also get a million questions when I talk about techniques for my portraiture, so I always recommend this video, Techniques for Pencil Portraits. It takes you through fundamentals, how to attack a portrait. It's really great. So for a limited time, the people who click the link in the video description, you'll get a free trial of Skillshare's premium membership. It's a really great opportunity. I love Skillshare. You know, it not only helps my channel, but I think it's a really good resource for the type of person watching my videos. Shout out to Skillshare. Thanks for sponsoring the video. We got a few more things to do. Let's finish this painting up together. And look at this setup. We're absolutely in a production zone right now. Not only the big painting, we got the big production. I love it. And for people who don't really know, I love painting forever, but I equally love videography, cinematography. We're gonna have to bring a few more things into the hat, some darkness, and maybe stylize it a little more. And then this hair, and then just little tweaks to the face. A lot of that. And we'll see what this looks like real quick. Might be a little too dark, but we'll see. We want a lot of paint because we got a lot of surface to cover. We could kind of blend that in, but let's add some more. We'll kind of make 2 piles, one dark, one lighter. You can also see parts there's a little warm, so I can add some yellow or brown later. Help kind of blend this chalky, warm and cool background. Splotchy, textured. That's all I was going for. It's very simple. It's nothing crazy, but it supports the face and the colors. Blotchy background. That's all I really want, and I think it's working out. I enjoy it. I enjoy backgrounds a lot because I think it's a huge part of paintings. You know, people sometimes let the background go, and it's like it's a huge framing. It frames the painting, so you got to hold it to the same standard. I got to blend that stuff in real quick. I might use some water. Notice how I'm not being very careful. This is very messy and improvised, and that's what I'm going for, and that's the style, and it's not because I'm lazy. I want to match the whole style, the face, and the whole thing, so I'll give you a before and after. Is this before and after working? That's pretty sweet, right? If I can do this correctly, I think it adds something, it helps. Next on the docket is this hat, and I need some more darkness in here, and I need some more dark over here. This is all a little bright. That's good. Under here, we need some of that darky dark. Under here, we certainly need some darkness, so there's some glare, so. And this is just gonna give ultimate dimension. Now we could bring a little of this back because I don't need all of this. What we're just saying with these dark parts is, hey, like this is really dark. There's no light there, you know? So you're going in, you're traveling in to where there's no dark and your head's still there. I can also darken this skin. I'll have to do that. I wanted to add some darkness right here as well. Then some dark blue right here. Just those couple details bring this out. Remember we talked about my final dark points I'm saving to the last moment? Just a few spots, even like right here in the hair, a very dark brown. And it's kind of everywhere. One of the issues I did was make this hair too light. So we're adding some yellow to this black mixture. Yellow and black makes that green I was talking about during the live streams, if you missed that. So we can bring that back just a little. Even this side, like the blonde color I did was a little too much because there's a lot of contrast between this light skin and hair right here. We don't need this sheet anymore, so I'm gonna peel this off, save it in case I need it. Isn't he just dandy? You know, I love these projects. I had a blast doing this video, another self-portrait. I try to do self-portraits like once a month. That's kind of like the routine I have to document myself once a month in different mediums, different sizes, different techniques. Like I said, this was really the first time I've done kind of like a realistic portrait with acrylics. Also by far the largest self-portrait I've certainly done. Just another face in the studio to stare at, and it is my own. So it was a blast. Hopefully you enjoyed the video, maybe learned something. Again, I want to remind people, if you want more exclusive access, you know, another lens into the studio and what I do Patreon, and that is a place to get more access. There's a private Discord. I go live every Sunday, you know, so check that out if you're into it. It's not for everyone, but I have it now. Check it out. Thanks to Skillshare for sponsoring this video. That's all I got. Stay tuned. We got some epic projects coming real soon.